So what can we learn from Comey's claims? Let's bring in Daniel Halper, contributing editor of the Free Beacon and the Weekly Standard. So Daniel, first, what is the immediate impact in Washington by Comey's book and the interviews he's giving?
Well, it's funny. He seems to have upset everyone. I think there's nobody else who engenders so much bipartisan hatred as James Comey. Obviously, President Trump and all his supporters seem to hate him, and same with Hillary Clinton and all her supporters. And it's really a remarkable come together. And yet, so on the one hand, you're inclined to like him, right, automatically, because so many people hate him, or at least I am, because I'm contrarian like that. But on the other hand, he's so self-aggrandizing and so self-righteous and such a moralizer that I think he really does a disservice to both himself and the institutions in which he ostensibly used to represent. And I think it's a big problem, I think, going forward.
You know, when you read the whole transcript, see the whole interview, you know, a lot of could-be's, maybes, I don't knows, and some hard questions. Like the effect of him calling out that investigation, political, on the race, as well as, you know, the impact of calling it a matter as opposed to an investigation. So how do you see those claims?
Well, I think the worst part of it was just the pure speculation. You know, George Stephanopoulos would ask him, are these allegations about President Trump true? Now, he's a trained investigator. He was the former director of the FBI. He should base his answer based on facts. Instead, he equivocates and says, well, it could be possible. It either is or it isn't. Now, if he doesn't know, maybe he can also say he doesn't have any evidence to prove that it is true.
Yeah, I know he says there's some obstruction of justice when he says the president told him to go easy on General Flynn. But he doesn't go into any specific, you know, explaining it beyond that.
So he's accusing him of crimes. He's speculating. I think it's irresponsible, and I think it's interesting.
You wrote a book about the Clintons, and there's another part of this interview that's fascinating. He was involved in the Vince Foster investigation. Remember Vince Foster?
Of course.
George Stephanopoulos asked him, "Did you come away with any impression of Hillary Clinton, the Clintons?" And he says he has not. Do you really buy that?
It's just weird. I think what I came away from overwhelmingly by watching the interview is that he really hates Donald Trump. And I understand that President Trump is president, and therefore George Stephanopoulos focused his questions a lot on President Trump. But he didn't seem to have the same hatred for Hillary Clinton. He didn't seem to have the same overwhelming hatred for anybody else. And I think it really shaded his judgment. And obviously, look, he's right, I think, when he says that there was no good outcomes in a lot of these situations. When you're investigating both the Democrat and a Republican or satellites of their candidacies, there aren't many good outcomes, and a lot of people have distrust, but somehow he appears to have made it worse, both for himself and the institution that he represented throughout the campaign at various steps of the way, and I think his tour does nothing to dispel that.
Yeah, here's Kellyanne Conway this morning talking about him.
This is somebody who's not under oath in interviews and writing a book, and this is somebody who is giving a revisionist version of history. The president hardly knew the man. The president said that, and the president answered within days of their interaction in a press conference for all to see. You played the clip last night that he did not ask him to stop any investigation.
Yeah, you think it is a revisionist version of history? I mean, under oath, he said that he was never asked to stop an investigation.
Yeah, I didn't think it would differ that. I didn't compare the transcripts. I didn't think it differed that greatly from when he was under oath. But I do think that in his version of events, he is the hero, and he's surrounded by a bunch of people who aren't, and he's the one who has to save justice, the American justice system. And I think that's just false, and I think, again, it created huge problems for the FBI that, by the way, as an institution, I think it's still going to suffer from, and it will suffer for a long time due to his actions.
Daniel Harper, thank you.
Thank you,
Eric. Good to see you.